All right, excellent afternoon to all those who are watching me across the states in Nigeria. Serena Williams, once said that every woman's success should be an inspiration to another. We are stronger when we cheer each other on. Those are words from Serena Williams, and I believe that it's the right code to open the show today. Again, I say welcome to another interesting episode of Real Talk with Kike. I remain your convener, Kike Atanda-Owo. Of course, yes, it's important for us to hear what on this day initial segment asked for us today. Stay with me, I'll be right back. All right, my takeaway from on this day initial segment, as far as I'm concerned, this incident of the past reflect on what our struggles were as a nation in the past, and I believe that today's on this day initial segment is a reminder for us to foster unity amongst ourselves and also to promote diverse amongst religious or tribal or ethnic or political lines. I think that's the message for today's on this day initial segment. And it's important for us to quickly get a message from my sponsors, those that have placed me on this platform. Let's hear a message from them. And when I return, I go straight to the main conversation. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, many thanks for staying with me. We are still on our International Women's Day 2024 editions, and March 8th tomorrow is the special date reserved for this global campaign. And the theme of International Women's Day 2024, Inspire Inclusion, carries over from previous years because it emphasizes the ongoing need for a more inclusive world for women. Despite progress, I must emphasize, women still face barriers in areas like leadership, equal pay, freedom from discrimination. Inclusion, as far as I'm concerned, for this year aims to break these barriers down. When women from all backgrounds, when I mean all backgrounds, I'm talking about race, ethnicity, socioeconomics, class, and so on. And on this year's International Women's Day, it leads to richer solution and a more equitable society. When women feel valued and included, it fosters a sense of belonging and empowering them to reach their full potential. On the live show today, it is my concern to look at the Nigerian women, especially from the African struggle perspective, to see how some of us, have been able to, or when I say have been resilient enough, that's the word I'm struggling to remember, to campaign for this inclusion in our respective careers and, of course, in our communities. So today, guys, an achiever, an excellent woman of career accomplishments will be with me on the show today to discuss International Women's Day and many other perspectives I will be bringing to you. You do not want to miss this. Stay with me. I'll be right back. All right, welcome to the show. Owen Diana. Should I use that word right now, Diana? Omogiafo. Did I pronounce the last one properly?
Omogiafo.
Omogiafo. All right. I try as much as possible to, pronounce people's names before coming on the show. It's a pleasure. It's a pleasure. It's an honor to have you on the platform today. I know we've bumped into each other a couple of times, and I've watched you keenly, like I said before coming on it. And I must say that I love your persona. I love the demeanor, the calmness, and still remaining successful at what you do. Okay, you know what? Let me hold my breath now. many thanks for joining me today. How are you doing today?
I'm very well. I'm very well, Kike. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank
you. It's an honor to join you
today.
Thank
you so much. So I know that when I first met in our conference room, you were trying to be humble by introducing yourself. Your name resonates as much as the brand Transcorp. I must tell you this for free when it resonates with, where Transcorp resonates with Africa as a whole. But, I must ask you, because your success story, the success of your brands with the stellar revenue, maybe that's what to use now in terms of the recent times, of course, with the hardship that is ongoing at the moment. When I say hardship, I'm talking about the economic challenges. The fact still remains that numbers are out there for everyone to see. I must ask, how did you match your success with the brand over the years? Because when people are talking about Owen, it's not just about you as a brand alone or the Transcorp, but it's like coming into the room and your name also introduces where you represent. How did that happen?
Thank you very much, Kike. I think that's a very good opener. I think let's go a step back, talk about alignment of purpose.
Okay, I love that.
I'm a very passionate Nigerian, passionate African. I say I am an unrepentant optimist when it comes to being Nigerian, and I'm also very proud to be a Nigerian. Despite all the challenges, I'm very proud to be here. Then having the good fortune of working in a group that is firmly aligned with the economic and social development of Africa, and going with charity begins at home, of course looking at Nigeria. So there's that alignment from the onset that is in there, an alignment of my personal purpose of, hey, we need to develop our country, we need to develop Africa, then finding a platform that also has that kind of philosophy championed by Africa's foremost philanthropist and a serial entrepreneur, Mr. Tony Elumelu. It gives you that momentum that you need to grow. Then you're working within a broader organization. You've got a strong board. Corporate governance is high. There's that support that comes to say, this is what we're trying to do. We know we're working collectively towards a goal. So even on the days that is tough, but you say, okay, this is where I'm going. And they tell you what, tough times don't last, but what happens? Tough people do. Since we're quite clear about what we're trying to do, we keep on tracking towards the success and ensuring that we're looking at all the parameters that define success. You've talked about revenue, but it goes beyond revenue. You look at how you're operating your businesses sustainably. You look at your brand, because it's very important to see what's my perception out there. Am I communicating well? Do people know what we are doing? You look at your employees. Oh, my dear employees, I love my people so much, my humans of Transcorp. We work day and night to deliver. And of course, the bigger picture of what role is your company playing in the development of Nigeria.
Fantastic insights right there, and I must say many thanks for your career journey thus far. But like we all know, you've had a promising start with your career. How was your early career experiences? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you're touching on International Women's Day right now, we must be talking about stockbroker, Ali, you're a stockbroker in the past, so to say. I don't know if you're saying, in terms of shaping the banking industry with your leadership journey thus far, and I would like you to at least share with us what prepared you, for your current role as the president and CEO of Transcorp today.
Okay. So let's start from the beginning and come to try and keep it short. We don't have 2 years to do this.
Okay.
But Ellie, let's talk about the career. And I know your show, you have quite a diverse audience, so I might go back. My first degree is from University of Benin. I studied sociology and anthropology.
Yeah.
And at the time, it was really quite critical. If you had a second-class upper, it sort of opened doors into certain jobs that you would not get otherwise. So there was that first foundation in there. My early career days, I did work in a stockbroking firm right out of school. And it was a jobber job. It was really very interesting. Moving on, I did banking, I did consulting. Then I took time, went back to school for my master's at the London School of Economics. Returning back to Nigeria, yes, I told you I'm very passionate. I graduated August 31st, 2008, 4 a.m., Virgin Atlantic. I was back in Nigeria September 2nd. Wow. So I left the very next day, despite having opportunities to stay back in London at the time. Okay. And came in and joined UBA, right? And one thing we're working within the group of is that you have different opportunities. From UBA, I moved on to Heirs Holdings to Tulumulu Foundation, to Transcorp, and it's been an interesting journey all the way. One thing you get from working within our group, and it ties back to you, is you have your area of specialization, but you're very exposed to other sectors. So whilst even when I was in HR and working as a HR director, because I'm sitting down in the room where they're talking about oil and gas, talking about healthcare, you're talking about energy, power, hospitality. So you learn by assimilation. So there's a lot of hard work that goes in on your end as the individual, and my case, on my end, trying to understand, to know what is this sector about, and having people that are very willing to share of their time to teach you where you don't understand. But you know, for you to be taught, you sort of have to put up your hand and say, hey, I don't really know this thing. Can someone just take a few minutes to talk to me? And in our group, where it is very, very, very a merit-driven organization. You do the work, you get the recognition. You don't do the work, you also get the recognition, albeit in a negative way. So the journey has been one of hard work, has been one of resilience, and in truth, there's no way you can rise without being willing to make personal sacrifices as well, and knowing that you really have to push yourself to understand. Now, coming into the Transcorp group role, you asked what prepared me. Is that journey, that good fortune of being exposed to different people, having different experiences, and you come into a role whereby you're going to work as the leader of a company, that the vision is that it should be like the Asian tigers. It's a huge vision. And when you have that mindset of, look, I can do anything, I believe I can, and you have the support around you, Kike, is doable.
You've said a lot right now. I think the only thing that I feel that is missing from your submission right now is you're in a male-dominated sector. And I feel that I need to touch on that, because you need to share insights on the challenges that you faced as a female leader in a male-dominated sector. More importantly, it's not only, sometimes when people think of Transcorp, they think about the hotel. I'm talking about power, I'm talking about hospitality, I'm talking about oil and gas, I'm talking about growing the revenue. You might say the revenue is not important. Hello, everybody wants to do. It's important, the checks and balances. I'm an entrepreneur, and I must tell you that revenue is quite important. Critical. And the revenue of your company from, I think, 75.2 billion in 2020 to, I think, 194 billion in 2023. I would like you to share those success stories right now. In a male-dominated sector, a female like you changing narrative. No, we must hear that story.
Do you know that women are blessed?
Of course, yes.
We are a very special breed, right?
Please tell them.
Yes, I'm saying it. Women are blessed. We're a special breed. And the socialization and grooming that we have, at least let's talk within the Nigerian context, whereby a woman is expected to be hardworking, run fast, still look gracious at the same time, be very, you're driven without being aggressive. You just sort of are prepared for leadership. That's what I think. That was our growing up. Now, looking into our group, like I mentioned earlier, it's a merit-driven organization, very merit-driven. So it's not about whether you're a woman or a man. It's about, can you do the job? Do you have the competence? Do you have the skills? Do you have the belief, the heart for what is being done? Yes, you go into a broader world and people might look at you, this woman. And in my case, since I always laugh and say I committed a double sin, young, well, not so young anymore, but young. I became a CEO at the age of 38, young, female. They're going to say, look, why you? What do you have? Fine, they're allowed to have those questions. But when you engage, when you act, when you deliver on the results, those questions should go out. And for the women who are listening to this, you should note that you would find those challenges. I really want to say that do not start expecting that the rules will be lowered for you.
Because you're a female.
Because you're a female. No. You should really know that in reality they are even higher because you are a female. Because there are certain things you do and They'll be like, oh, she's emotional. But a man does it, it's fine. But you have to be aware of that and know, use it to your advantage of understanding that because more is expected of me, I'm going to deliver more and I'm going to astonish them. And I should state that this man-woman thing, no. God made man, said man was lonely, and created woman. So the world was created for man and woman to exist, and we do have very strong he for she champions. The reality is that it's not a competition, it's a collaboration. And you find that a number of women who have grown up in their careers, quite interestingly, they've had very strong male sponsors. Because at the first, once upon a time, women were not allowed to work. Women were not allowed to vote. We came up, and we keep coming up. We have more men supporting us, and as we now have more women coming up, we're also creating opportunities for other women. Or like in my case, I expanded beyond women. I create opportunities for young people, because you know what? Someone created the opportunity for me to be able to do so, did not judge me because of my gender, did not judge me because of my age, did not judge me because of my state of origin or anything. Rather, they said, you can do this job, and I was given the opportunity. Oh,
fantastic. If you're on my radio show, I'd have taken the bell and just ring on your head. But many thanks for showing to the world that you're more than a pretty face. You have a lot to offer on the table, despite all the challenges that comes with it. Let me not put that aside. Let me touch on the instability of the Nigerian economy at the moment, because I must ask you, how were you able to contrive, with making Transcorp shares at about, I think, 240 per shares, I believe, exactly, to the equity market capitalization? How were you able to drive those shares?
Well, not drive the shares. So we just listed Transcorp Power, introduction by listing of Transcorp Power PLC, and it was listed 7.5 billion ordinary shares at 240 naira per share, which gave us a market cap of 1.8 trillion naira on capital. But to talk about this, you need to understand the broad focus of Transcorp, right? And you asked about headwinds, how we're working within the economic space. So for us, we're a very prudent, highly governed organization. Highly prudent, highly governed organization. And we have a board that is involved. They set the tone, and management we follow and we execute, engaging with all the stakeholders. The journey of Transcorp Power didn't start today. Transcorp Power has been in existence since 2013, November. Last year, we celebrated our 10th anniversary. And if you're also following our story, you know that last year, Transcorp Power was the first successor generating company to be discharged from post-privatization monitoring by the National Council for Privatization. What does that mean in essence? It's saying, look, you bought our plant then, we gave you certain targets, you have surpassed the targets, we don't need to monitor you anymore. We have confidence that you are more than able and capable to run this business successfully. And that was done last year. We're the first company. Bringing up, understanding again what Transcorp stands for and how we are keen to democratize wealth and create opportunities for others. We brought this company to the market this year. And what has that done? You've talked about the instability, talked about what's going on. We've created an opportunity for Nigerians to know more about the power industry. Because when you are a listed company, there's a lot of transparency that comes in. We'll have AGM, the shareholders will come. This is what typically they would not do before. It was a private company. They come, they ask questions, right of reply, all of that goes in. And for us, because we are prudent managers, it dives into everything that we do, even in how we run our companies. So our our 972 megawatt plant is located in Ughelli Delta State. We have good evacuation corridor. We have 2 independent gas lines that feed us. So for that reason, we are able to optimally generate the available capacity that we have. With more improvements on the transmission and distribution infrastructure, we'll even see way more coming in. And now as well that we've gone onto the market, and thank you so much for bringing that up, that we've gone onto the market, it also creates an opportunity for us to be able to take further more of our strategic intent of being a foremost integrated energy management company in Nigeria. Fantastic submission right there. And we all know Transcorp Power is a big contention when it comes to, we're collecting, how will I put it now, big issues amongst, big names, without me not actually mentioning anybody's name right now, because you know that you are a force, to reckon with when it comes to power sector. I would like you to throw some light on
what will Transcorp Power, contribute to well, I don't know the word to use now, to the alignment of power sector in Nigeria today with all the challenges that is surrounding power sector?
I think that's a very good question. Yeah, like I mentioned in my last response, now that we're listed, we're out there. There's going to be a lot more transparency, and transparency in the sense of you can see what's going on. Transcorp Power has been a leader in the power sector and will continue to lead. Last year, Transcorp Group and some other investors became invested in Abuja Electricity Distribution Company, which is the company that deals with Abuja and 3 other states in the north. Why was that done? Because we recognize that we need to get power to the last mile user. Transcorp Power, we have 972 megawatts. If we generate more of those, it becomes more supply available. And then you and I, because I'm also in the market, I need to get the power as well. Absolutely. The businesses, we need yes, we're all in there. And with the removal of the subsidy on petroleum products, now more than ever, we need to have consistent power. So what do we do as the leaders? We will set the tone. We will set the tone for what's happening. So every quarter you see our results, you will know what has happened. And to give you an idea of, okay, what's going on here? Why is this here? We continue to operate in an ethical and safe manner. We'll have the stakeholders' confidence, other shareholders, even foreign investors. They will have books and they're able to look at it and say, do you know what? There's something in the power sector in Nigeria. And that will attract further investment into the country, and it will further reinforce investor confidence. And when investor confidence is reinforced, it helps all of us as a country. And with that, we're able to deal with more of the issues. There have been some conversation in the past about the transmission company being privatized or concession. If or when that happens, Transcorp, as usual, will be part there to also be a part of it, because we believe what the government is doing, and we're going to work with them to see how we are going to transform Nigeria. And privatization is something we've been doing. Transcorp Hilton Abuja, as you know, was bought through a privatization exercise. And in 2019, we were delisted from further monitoring as well. We are also the owners of TransAfam Power. Doesn't get talked about as much. TransAfam Power in Rivers State, that is a whooping 966 megawatts. And we're working now to bring that up. And that will give us a total of 2,000 megawatts of power that is available to you, myself, and other Nigerians.
Fantastic, fantastic submission right there. I think it's important for us to go on a quick break and let my guest take a bottle of water or Martina. When we come back, the conversation will continue. Stay with me. I'll be right back.
Thank you.
All right, glad to know you're still right there with us. In case you just joined the show, today's conversation is about International Women's Day, and I'm being joined by the group CEO, who is also the president of Transcorp, and we've been discussing the successful transitioning of Transcorp over the years and what lies ahead in the future, and of course our role as an excellent achiever that has made us stand out and add to the credibility of the brand as a whole. Yes, I'm saying so, because if you've been following up for a while, you understand what I'm talking about. But of course, we will now be, shifting the conversation a little bit to inspire inclusion by International Women's Day. But quickly, let me use this opportunity to open the phone lines. Remember that you can be part of this conversation by calling the studio number 080-988-77400, showing on your screen right now. And of course, we're streaming live on Facebook, on YouTube, both on Real Talk with Kike and of course on Silverbird platform. And I must say many thanks, Owen, for all your submission thus far. It's very inspiring. And I love the fact that you know your onions. I have no doubt about you before, but listening to you directly, hearing you speak truth to power, especially when it comes to issues in the sector, and how you have been able to grow as a leader is very inspiring to many people out there. And amongst your achievements now, let me touch on that, because when I say your achievement, I'm talking about the Transcorp Power that become the first power generation company, you know, to receive a discharge certificate, I think, after, you know, surpassing the largest set of Bureau of Public Enterprise, as the BPE and all of that. So this is an area that I feel that you need to touch on, which is also dominated with male politics. You know, I spoke about that. Yes, because, you know, when I see women like you thriving, there are quite a number of people too that say, ah, Kike, I'm like, no. When you see women who are doing well in a male-dominated environment, now it is politics in our country, because the politics is everywhere. How did you navigate your way in achieving all of this?
That's another interesting question, Kike. So I think perhaps why there's so much focus on this conversation of a woman in a man's world, because we don't have enough women playing these roles. Yes, the ratio. And I really do look forward to the day when we have so many women in key roles that when a woman is appointed, it's not a big deal. When a young person is appointed, it's not a big deal. It becomes rather like it's a normal thing. I mean, we don't talk about women voting today. It's no longer an issue. But to answer your question very specifically, I have a strong mindset of I can do it. I'm also aware that I'm prepared for it.
Louder.
Yes, prepared for it. You got to work hard.
Yeah.
By coming to your show, I went to look at other shows to see how you engage. So I'm not surprised coming in and having these very, like you put it, discussing contemporary topics. So I think I'll just speak broadly, maybe more of an advisory type of thing, using my own experiences. Women, be prepared. Be prepared for roles. Aspire for roles beyond what you're doing or what you think you can do. Because sometimes you actually underestimate the capacity to thrive that we have. We underestimate it. Have belief in yourself. And this is what I've always done. Yeah, sometimes you have butterflies in your tummy, because seriously, if you don't have butterflies in your tummy about what you're trying to do, are you dreaming at all? Are you dreaming? Are you dreaming big? If your dreams don't scare you, they are what? Not big enough.
They're not big enough.
But you now work hard. Put in the work. Go in there. Let's stop being wallflowers. We shy away from opportunities, or we are very apologetic. I'm not saying that you should be brash or aggressive or rude. No. You can just state what you're trying to say, and we move with that. Identify the opportunities that are within your space and put yourself up. So let me go back a little, just use just something very poignant to me. It was 2016, I was the acting chief operating officer of the Tony Elumelu Foundation. And that's one foundation I'm really very happy about, because again, we're talking about inclusion today. Yes. And I hope we get somewhere where we can talk about specifics on this. I was acting chief operating officer. The previous chief operating officer had to leave for family reasons suddenly, and then we had a void. I had to quickly step in. I was director of human resources at the time. Took us through a period. Then I was having a meeting with the founder of the foundation, Mr. Elumelu himself. And he was asking me, in my capacity as the HR director, that let's look at candidates. And do you know what I did? I just said, sir, why not me? And the opportunity was there. And he paused and looked at me like, indeed. He probably had a conversation with the other advisory board members, the board and all of that. And that's how I became the chief operating officer of the foundation. And moved on, executed. So asking why not me is not, if you get the job, you have to do it. You have to deliver. You have to deliver. And the records are there, that working with my other colleagues within the foundation, we delivered. Now, fast forward to 2020. Remember in 2016, early 2017, I asked the question, why not me? In 2020, when the role of the group CEO of Transcorp was coming up, as is our system, looking, there's a whole succession plan and everything. And I was having a conversation with the board, a few members of the board. And I was telling them, okay, that's simple, I think we can look at. I was just conversing. The next question came, why not you? So some years ago was me asking, why not me? And today, the 20, I'm not being asked, why not you? When that question came up, do you know what I quickly did? My brain had to reset very quickly. And I had to pitch myself for the job. Yeah. Because I knew at that point in time, I was not an expert, My knowledge of power was, I would say, low intermediary. But I had to upskill very quickly, because I'm not going to say, oh, because, but you knew now when you appointed me that I'm not a power expert. No, that's not it. You're there. You must perform according to the requirements of the job. You must upskill yourself. And one thing you would have as a business manager, your leadership skills, understanding of financials, understanding of stakeholder management, performance management, corporate governance. You bring it all together and you succeed. So to my women, put up your hand. Why not you?
You know, this is the kind of guest that I wish that my show is actually 2 hours, so I can keep going on and on. But many thanks for that inspiring insight right there. But quickly, because I think I have 2 questions for you, because you touched on that Atanda-Owo Foundation. But I would like you to actually, how did you prioritize gender equality and inclusion with the International Women's Day theme for the year 2024? Because I feel that within Transcorp and beyond Transcorp, when it comes to the strategies that women like you bring to fore in terms of how to employ to create a diverse and inclusive workplace culture. And the workplace culture, I'm talking about work-life balance. I know quite a number of organizations are beginning to tweak so many things in terms of having crèche in the organization and the likes and all of that, to give some women some flexibility to, to want to, thrive in that space that we are in. Again, and the second question for me, as a mentor to entrepreneurs through the Atanda-Owo Foundation, and how you even got to where you are today, which I feel is not by accident, is the fact that you are in a room where they are ready to also give you an opportunity and you see value that what you are going to bring to fore. So what advice do you have for inspiring business leaders, especially women in Nigeria who are thriving to say that I want to become another Owen?
I look forward to a lot more people Owen as well. But to very succinctly answer, the world is male and female. So you really have no option other than to have inclusion. You cannot believe you would be able to develop by excluding. Yet to date, or rather since the inception of the entrepreneurship program for the foundation, they actually have about 50% women. They've invested over $50 million in female entrepreneurs through the program. In our own Transcorp group, we have diversity. We have over 33% of our workforce as female, which is interesting when you know that we're in a male dominated sector. You talked about workplace, work-life balance. You say you've been following me, Kike, so let's test this. And one of the things I say to people is that I find work-life balance a bit difficult. Rather, what I prefer to go for, because it's just an easier goal to reach, I call it work-life integration. Okay. I don't have any problem with crashes and co in the workplace, but what in essence we're still doing is still almost stereotyping women to being the caregiver at home. It's a 2-parent household in most cases.
Oh, louder.
Yes.
They need to hear.
It's a 2-parent household. We integrate. So today you do this and you come up. Sometimes your work takes priority. Like this week, with all the things we've been going with the listing and co, my work has taken priority. But I still make sure I create that window for my family, because it's important they feel my touch. My plan this weekend, nope, I'm just going to be talking to my children, talking to my husband to focus. There's some days your life is going to take priority. If your child is not feeling well, your parent is not feeling well, your friend, you're going to drop what you have to do, and you'll be right there by the bedside. So basically, I'm just trying to say to women out there and to men as well, because we still see that a lot of policies are still being made by men. Please create the kind of environment that will allow a woman to be able to step up to you and say, can I look at my hours so I can do this? Or maybe even more importantly, please do not exclude women from certain positions because you think you're doing them a favor. I went to Abuja to be the CEO of Transcorp Hotel. My baby was 8 months old when I went to Abuja. Today, she's 6 years old. If I hadn't gone to Abuja to become the CEO of Transcorp Hotel, I would not be here today. Now, let's assume my company has said, because you have a nursing baby, let's not give you the opportunity.
And kudos to your husband as well.
Oh, Atanda-Owo. He is amazing.
Many men, especially traditional African men, might want to limit it. So you want to live an Airtel months old baby,
never my husband.
making you just, exchange for your career path. It's so unfortunate. Sorry, I have to interrupt your line of thoughts right now because I'm trying to manage time, and I feel that there's so much we can still learn from you. As in, I'm for lack of a better word, guys, I'm feeling so I must ask you this question because I would like you to elaborate on your vision, especially when it comes to empowering women in leadership position within that Transcorp. I want you to tell all your thoughts towards Transcorp in the sense that, I feel that there is this broader corporate sector in Nigeria that women need to fill in. Again, that's my first question to you. I'm sorry that I'm giving you double questions at the same time. And my second question is the fact that I feel that how do you see the role of Transcorp, in driving sustainability, development, and economic growth in Nigeria today? Because no matter how far we are going with this perspective and conversation, we must touch on economic growth in Nigeria, particularly in sectors such as power and hospitality that I feel that you should, throw some light on.
Okay, so real quick, let's just start with the last question. The listing of Transcorp Power brought to the market 1.8 trillion capitalization. And it's all over. It's drawing attention. Transcorp Power's listing, I believe, will encourage others to also come forward. And the more companies that we bring to the market, the more people understand the value that is in Nigeria. And the more we'll talk around, have more voice around the table. And on the matter of succession, Transcorp Group, we are a merit-driven group. Your gender does not stop you. Your age does not stop you. We give it to the best person. And one of my delights is that when I left Transcorp Hotels PLC, I was succeeded by a woman, the fantastic Dupe Olushola, who's done amazingly well with the hotel, as you can see from the figures, and how the market has also rewarded us in that context. And that's how we'll continue to drive those policies that will create a level playing field for everyone, and there will be no discrimination of who you are, whether by your race, your gender, your age, your religion, your state of origin, absolutely nothing. But I want to encourage my fellow women to be out there, look for the opportunities that are there, attend conferences, read up, and be able to have a conversation around the room on topical matters. Thank you, Kike.
Fantastic. Many thanks. But I think I've got a minute or two to be able to ask you my last question. I apologize before I move to the last segment of the show, because looking ahead, what are your own aspirations for the future? I believe that, even though I said earlier, Transcorp, I must not limit a woman like you, because I believe that I must find women like you in the corridor of power in future. So, how do you plan to leverage your leadership role to inspire inclusion, and not only to Transcorp alone, but also to drive that positive change in the Nigerian businesses landscape, in the political landscape tomorrow? Because women like you, I must see you in the ministerial role. What's your take on this? Talk to me. Talk to us.
You can look.
You have 1 minute. 1 minute to talk to us before they start running.
Coming to a show like this today is part of those things of putting yourself out there and educating people on what's possible. But I like what you said about what's the outlook. I look forward to in Nigeria, whereby I said my green passports be respected, and I strongly believe that we can. We're able to restore ourselves to our position of glory. We will have a country where there's, well, to be honest, equality is a bit difficult. There are equitable opportunities. Equitable opportunities where we can all thrive. Again, gender is really important. It's very critical. I'm happy we're talking about the International Women's Day. And interestingly enough, as things have expanded, it's become the International Women's Month, because we know that we cannot celebrate us in one day.
Yes, sir.
We need a whole month.
Absolutely.
Yeah? But looking forward, Transcorp is still going to play a key role. A very key role, because we are looking into improving lives, transforming the continent, and with our power play, we look to be able to power 1 in 4 homes in Nigeria. And when you have that power situation resolved, look at what it will do for catalyzing the development of the country. And our hospitality, we shall continue to expand. We're planning actually having a hotel in Lagos. It's coming up. That you'll be able to enjoy.
You're coming to challenge all of my sponsors. All right, many thanks for all your elaborate submission out there. I wish you the very best as
I
you continue to forge ahead in your career and of course in your personal life as well. Like you call it work-life integration.
Yes.
Yes, I must have missed that in one of your captions on social. But many thanks. But quickly, let me move to the last segment of the show that I call trending. These are stories that binds you and I as Africans, as Nigeria. And the first trending and the only trending I'm going to be taking right now because of time and also because of the fact that it's International Women's Month. I call it a concise reflection on International Women's Day 2024. And I like the fact that the theme this year is inspiring inclusion. And this is where, Owen, that I, as a host, have an opinion. So I'll go first before I ask, before I bring you in for your submission. And this is my take. In our dear country, being a woman is very challenging compared to a developed countries like America and Europe, where women have higher advantage. Nonetheless, I want to celebrate all the women in our dear country remaining relevant in their individual fields of practice is one of the things my guest Owen have emphasized on today. I congratulate you all for all your work over the years. Remaining consistent and resilient is also what my guest today, Group CEO of Transcorp, have also emphasized on. There are so many biases that women face, like not arriving at places of decision with a Mrs. to your name. I feel that we live in an environment where women in the first place are being stereotyped with the validation of Mrs. I actually needed to put some value, some emphasis on that because I feel that women have a lot to offer more than just being a Mrs. That's a good one, but still you have a lot to offer instead of just looking for the validation of being a Mrs. And of course, the number also in terms of the disadvantage in leadership position is also out there. However, we are still keeping up to the fact that, despite all the challenges that we are facing in terms of the individual family demands, the marital obligation, the societal narrative, speaking about International Women's Day this year, 2024, for me is about, trying as the African woman. And we can see that truly we are really trying because when you look at the images out there, African women, Nigerian women are women that you cannot push aside anymore. Even in diaspora, I see us making impact and I have so many references that I wish I can bring to fore, but because of time, I might not be able to mention that. But I celebrate all of you. We see you. I see you. With regards to inspiring inclusion today, I feel that we've come to a place where we say that we are enough. I believe that we can continue to prove our words with consistency, because those are the words that I've heard back to back from Owen today. I feel that I need to also emphasize on that word consistency. The world sees what we are doing, and we are doing a lot. What we are achieving is speaking for us all over the world. There's no battle between us with men and women. We just need to keep showing up wherever we find ourselves, just like the opportunity that came our way when she was in the boardroom meeting. And you know what? She showed up and doing what she knows best, and she's good at what she does, and she knows her onions without them thinking that, they are doing a woman a favor. Women need to be practical about things. I need to emphasize on that as well. Know that learning never ends. That is also one of Owen's message today. Learning never ends. Learning is continuous. However you look at it, improving your capacity, the mentality, or will I say the intellectual, morally, financially capacity for us to continue to maintain our impact wherever we find ourselves is also what I'm bringing to fore right now. So another crucial area that I feel that I also need to bring on, knowing that I'm a trainer as well, I run a consulting firm. Learning and training doesn't end. Attend those trainings. Keep being motivated regardless of whatever challenges that you might think that you're going through. Nigerian women navigate complex societal structures and overcome daily hurdles today. Your determination as a woman is a source of inspiration for another woman, at the forefront of international businesses, driving local economic and, will I say, supporting families, still trying to find that work-life integration, like she said. So I'm saying today, advocating for peace, educating yourself, education, equal rights, challenging the narrative of desperation in marriages is also what I'm bringing to fore. Because I know that our great-grandparents, our mothers, some of them were, they were depressed in the marriages that they found. And I like the fact that the women of today are trying to change that narrative. We must promote women in leadership, in the roles across sectors, when it comes to government, when it comes to business, when it comes to civil society. It is in our hands for us to change that narrative. Investing in girls' education is also one thing I think we need to equip ourselves on when it comes to the success or for us to succeed and challenge gender norms today. It is the same education that has brought me this far. I must emphasize, I have 2 master's degrees. I still keep learning. I still going to different countries to get all those qualification or certification and all of that. Combining all of that, I feel that it's about combating violence against women and ensuring that their safety is crucial for inclusion. Let's continue to celebrate women. Let's continue to empower women from all ethnicity, from all backgrounds, from all religion in Nigeria today. I think I have to take my breath now. Quickly, what's your take on this?
I think you've said it all, a whole lot. The theme for this year's International Women's Day is inspiring inclusion. Inspiring inclusion. It's to be included, you have to be seen. So I want to urge my fellow women to stand up to be counted. Stand up to be counted. Look at the opportunities that are out there. Come out and let us be seen. Let us pick up what we've been asked to do and drive it. I mean, Kike has said so much, and I really appreciate what she has put out. You do not need to be stereotyped. You can do a whole lot more. As someone who is mentoring a number of women, I want to tell you that the more you speak up, the more assistance you can get. And today's world of social media is kind of made the world smaller. You'll be surprised who you can reach. Sending a DM on Instagram, do not assume that it will not be read. But when you send it, put your message across and make your message compelling. Prepare, prepare, prepare. Educate yourself. There are so many free courses these days. One of the stereotypes we face is they tell us, oh, women don't like numbers. Why? Dispute it. Disprove it.
Absolutely.
When you go and speak, back your presentation with numbers. It should not be based on feelings alone. Feelings are good sometimes because sometimes that intuition goes a long way in giving you the eye for the deal. Have that confidence. Engage. Let your family know who you are. Let them see you beyond being just mom, daughter, sister. Let them understand that as a woman, you are a total package. And like Kike said very well, we shall continue to inspire other women and more women as we find in our positions. We work hard to be successful, and we then hand the baton over to those who are coming next. And we wish you all the very best, and we say, welcome to the corporate world.
Welcome to the corporate world. Many thanks
Thank you
for
very much,
lending your voice on issues that affect us women even across board. Thank you so much. I wish you the very best again, Owen. And I believe that people like you, the sky is just the beginning.
Amen.
On that note, this is where I draw the curtains of the show. Indeed, I've had an awesome show on today's edition of Real Talk with Kike. Courtesy to my resourceful guest, Diane, I like to use that word first. Owen Omogiafo. Thank you so much for being on Real Talk with Kike today, for sharing your lunchtime with me. That's all I like to call it. And this is where I say bye now. Bye.